Today's topic is our Earth. The planet which we live on, Earth actually means land, soil, ground. We live on this earth along with millions of other animals, plants, and microorganisms. Human life evolved on the earth over 1 lakh years ago. Thousands of years ago, before we human evolved, the earth was a ball of molten rocks or a frigid ball entirely encased in miles of ice. It has over time, billions of years, stabilized and only varied from hot, mostly covered in ice, to a hot house with no ice anywhere. The force of the moon farming impact left Earth a churning hot magma bloom. The hellish conditions made Earth resembled Venus for a time, with a hazy, steamy atmosphere. But as the planet cooled, lava became rock and liquid water started to condense, forming Earth's first ocean. The Earth is made up of 3 layers: crust, mantle, and core. Crust, we live on the outer part of the earth, which is called crust. This layer goes up to a depth of 100 km. The crust mostly consists of various kinds of rocks. Mantle, it exists at the depth from 100 km to 2900 km. The upper part of the mantle is a pliable layer over which the crust floats. This consists mainly of chemicals like silica. Now it's about core. It exists at the depth from 2900 km to 6376 km. It is composed of dense and heavy substance like iron and nickel. It can be more divided into two sublayers: outer layer and inner layer. Outer layer 2000, it starts from 2900 kilometers to 5100 kilometers, composed of liquid metallic materials like nickel and iron. When it's about inner core, the solid inner core starts from 5100 km to 6376 km of the earth, and it's made up of iron composed and heavy substance like gold. Crust enter into the mantle and once again become molten. This constant process of formation and destruction of the crust explain the fact that our earth is still very active. The crust on which we live on is still being changed by earthquakes, volcanoes, subduction of land, rise of mountains due to process happening deep down inside the earth. Supercontinent Pangaea broke up to form two lands. One is Laurasia or Angara land, and second one is Gondwana land. These two blocks were separated by a long shallow inland sea called the Tethys Sea. It took millions of years for the continent to reach the present shapes and positions on the globe. Even today, many of continents between the equator and North Pole is called Northern Hemisphere. Hemis means half. Hemisphere means half of a sphere. The half that is between equator and South Pole is called Southern Hemisphere. Counting from one pole to another, there are 180 latitudes excluding the equator. Now longitude. Latin gave us the word longitudo, meaning length, from which we get longitude. Longitudes are not full circles, they are semicircles connecting pole to pole. Aryabhatta knew the meridian that passes through the Ujjain, Lanka and Rohtak. Ancient Indians knew the latitudes of a place by measuring the inclination of the pole star Dhruva. The longitude that passes through the astronomical observatory at Greenwich, England, is called the zero meridian, prime meridian or Greenwich meridian. There are 360-degree longitudes. We organize the main latitudes into the two parts. One is 0 degree to 180 degree going east, which are eastern longitudes. Second one is 0 degree to 180 degree going to west, which are the west longitudes. Example, 28 degree E means for the east longitude, 28 degree W for west longitudes. The longitudes 180 degrees directly opposite to 0 degree latitudes. The longitude 180 degrees directly opposite to 0 degree longitude is called the anti-meridian. After all this, remember latitude and longitudes are the imaginary lines. It takes 4 minutes for the sun's position to move 1 degree of longitude. This means that the time is different for each degree of longitude. When the sun is directly overhead at 10 degree east longitude, the local time is 12 noon, but it is 11:56 am at 9 degree east and 12:04 pm at 11 east. This can cause a lot of confusion. Therefore, the world is divided into 24-hour zones, starting from the Greenwich meridian going east to west. The width of each time zone is 15 degree of longitude. This means the difference between one time zone and the next is 1 hour. 15 degree of longitude into 4 minutes equals to 60 minutes. As you go east from Greenwich meridian, you add time. As you go west of the Greenwich meridian, you subtract time. When it is noon 12 in the day on Monday at 0 longitude, it is mid of 12 night at the opposite longitude. It means anti-meridian. Just to the west of 180 degrees, the Tuesday is just beginning, while to its east, Monday is just beginning. Same countries choose the time along one of the meridians that passes through their territory and follow the time of the meridian for the whole country. This time is called standard time. For India, it is standard time IST. For Pakistan, it is Pakistan standard time, and so on. The advantage of this is that, for example, wherever you are, it is the same time. In countries which span a large number of longitudes, keep time a more complex. They may divide their countries into more convenient time zones, usually with 1 hour difference between one time zone and the next. That's all for today. I hope you understood. Thank you.